Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. With me once again, I have Campo.Reviews, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, and now wrestling. And coming back to the show is the Puttyman. Puttyman's been absent for a few episodes, but he's here. He watched WWE Backlash with the rest of us, so he will be joining us on this show as well. Just a fair warning, guys. Tomorrow, on tomorrow's video, Campo and I make our own draft. We have our draft review of the WWE draft, and then the following night we are going to have our own draft. So Campo and I, we drafted our own Smackdown and Raw TV shows, which superstars we think should go where. So here are our thoughts on the draft tomorrow, and here our own draft on Thursday. So make sure you have that, you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have that bell notification turned on so you know when that video drops. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us, gentlemen. Talking WWE Backlash.
Yeah, I was there.
Yes.
Well, I
there
wasn't
too.
physically there. I wish I were there. Puerto Rico's nice. It's raining here in Toronto.
I was there in heart, but then I left myself and left my body at some moments in the show.
Yeah,
okay.
I left my wallet in El Segundo, so.
Oh, I found it. It's over at my house. It's okay.
Yeah. Savio Vega has it.
Wow, spoilers.
So we'll start right away with our first match of the night, which was Bianca Belair against Io Sky. I thought this was a pretty good opening match.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was, sorry, go ahead, Putty.
I was gonna say Io Sky. I've actually never really focused on her too much because the whole what was it called, damage control.
Damage control.
I'm always so used to seeing them together that seeing her by herself was actually quite enjoyable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
she's a really talented wrestler.
Yeah.
So for frame of reference, I thought you were gonna say it, but
yeah, go ahead.
So for frame of reference, Io Sky is the only ever Triple Crown or Grand Slam champion. I can't remember exactly what it is for Startup.
Yes, she has won every belt there is.
And signed to
Grand Slam because there's four.
They did nothing with her.
She beat Charlotte. That's a big.
Yeah, and then what happened since then?
Yeah, that's true.
This is the first time I've seen her not on NXT where she actually wrestled like Io Sky.
Yeah.
And not at 80% WWE standards.
She had some crazy movesets in this as well.
Yeah.
Like
I thought it was really, really well done. I am starting. And like, it's weird to say this because yes, we put her as our wrestler of the year last year for the female wrestlers, Bianca Belair. But the last couple of matches for her have been kind of shaky. Like she's been botching moves. She dropped Io Sky on her face.
Yes, I saw that. I was just about to say that. She's been kind of, I don't want to say botchy, but she's been lackadaisical, I guess is a good word for it.
Well, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird too, because even the audience with the one being heel, one being babyface, even the way everything felt as far as like not even the viewers, the audience, that even the way Bianca was acting, like she didn't even seem like she was a babyface at this point.
No, like the crowd was chanting. The crowd was 100% behind Io.
We got in this environment. Number one, it was a great crowd. Number two, it's an international style crowd where there's no such thing as I only cheer for baby faces American WWE fans.
I cheer for who I like.
I cheer for who I like. I cheer for who we think is actually a good wrestler. Like, not that Bianca Belair is not, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's not this fan base where it's like, oh, we only cheer for the faces. We'll sing we'll sing their songs, but we don't like them. But I do want to say something, and I noticed it at points, especially during this match. Other matches, it felt pretty organic. I feel like they were pumping sound into the building. Because it was the first match? At first, it didn't seem like anyone was actually booing Bianca. If you look into the crowd, there was no mouths moving. No one was making any noise.
You could hear
see
booing.
The whole thing, but you could hear booing so loud to the point that the arena sounded like it was going to fall down. But sometimes you're looking in the crowd and nobody's making any noise.
In all fairness, like those first few rows they're usually plants. They're usually people with money. You know what I mean? It's the true fans are up in the upper levels.
You could see pretty far back and no one's mouths were moving. Like at one point, everyone was cheering EEO, and you looked out and no one was saying anything. But I think,
get it.
I'm not saying all that sound wasn't real because you could hear it later.
They just what they did was they probably just, instead of pumping it, they amplified it.
Yeah, I think they were trying to sway people's feelings.
Yeah, because from the way it looked, I think,
as well.
Yeah, they're trying to break Io away from damage control, maybe.
I think they're trying to turn Bianca heel.
Okay.
Really? I mean, why though? What's the intention? Because
Well,
she does
she's
not
going to
have a heel
SmackDown, right?
personality.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of babyface women on SmackDown.
Oh, okay, maybe that's it then.
I think it's just a new direction for her, right? Like she's probably
She needs-
really
yeah.
bored at what's happening right now. She's been the same character for the whole time in her career.
Yeah.
And
So
she's been the champion for so long.
She is officially now the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion. I think that's why they didn't change the belts either. So,
I heard them say of modern era.
Because Moolah has like 5,000 days as Women's Champion.
Okay.
That's why they say a modern era. Out of like since the WWE Women's Championship, Raw Women's was created, she is the longest reigning champion for the Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Putty, go ahead.
So the question is this. Okay, I'm not sure about the whole thing. Like with Bianca's hair, is that even part of her, or is that like an attachment?
That's an attachment. It's all fake.
I think they need to run some kind of angle where they cut her hair off.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Well, that's the thing. I feel like even maybe she is, because the whole twirling of the hair, that thing, it was cool as a gimmick, but she's got to be like, this is boring. I'm tired of doing this. So it's got to be to the point where she's like,
it's also like a health hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a weapon in the ring for the opponent.
Or it's a way to get her to be.
It just I don't know if it bothers anybody. Like this is such a stupid thing to complain about, but like when it starts all fraying, it looks so bad. And it to me, like visually, if you're WWE and you're so always want this perfect look, it looks really sloppy. Because her hair, it just looks like a freaking dirty mess by the end of the match.
Especially this match, it looked the worst I've ever seen it.
Yeah, she came in and it already looked bad.
I think they're also using a cheaper extension.
Maybe.
Like that could be a possibility, right? Like
either way, it's
those things are not cheap. We're talking thousands of dollars for that.
Yeah, but they're $1 billion company.
True.
And she's one of the highest paid wrestlers for sure. So either way, the match was pretty good. Little complaints aside. And I like that they came out.
And it was a long match too. It was 18 minutes.
You know,
longer than anything on the New Japan show that we reviewed yesterday.
Every match on this card was long.
Yeah.
We talked about in the New Japan review, which you'll see that.
Go back. It was posted yesterday. Go back and watch it. Yeah.
Like my feelings for this were very similar. This event, and I did end up liking most of this, which we'll get to. But I think the storytelling of this event was more important than anything else.
Yeah.
Like even if you didn't like any of the matches, it's going to be hard to give this a poor rating just because of how much storytelling happens throughout this event.
I was just jumping to say this. The only thing is and again, I'm not paying attention to Raw and SmackDown pretty much anymore. Just pretty much paying attention to the main events. The storylines that they have here, I mean, they are still connected with WrestleMania and all that kind of stuff, so it's easy to fill in. But of course, I was skipping any of those intros that are showing.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say so for me, the storyline had to be in the ring, and then there were a few that were great that we'll get into it later. But like even when I sat down and thought about it, is this better than the other like Backlash or anything else we've seen? And I feel like because we haven't gotten the greatest of stuff, this has a better a pay-per-view, but it's still not the greatest. So when we get to that point, but that's the reason why I'm saying
it's really weird that you put your like in conclusion at the very start of the pay-per-view.
Well, no, I didn't mean to say in conclusion, but I'm just saying like in the way
I think because they also took away the WrestleMania Backlash this year. It's no longer WrestleMania Backlash, it's just Backlash, and this is the backlash of everything that's happened since WrestleMania.
Yes, which it should be, as opposed to just a retread of every match that we saw.
Because it was good last year too. We enjoyed Backlash.
That was like my favorite WWE event probably of the year.
Yeah. Last year, what do we? I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, you gave Backlash 8.1 last year. So
they did all the WrestleMania matches better than they did in WrestleMania.
You gave it a 7. We called it WrestleMania's greatest hits.
Yeah,
on one album.
One album, exactly. Double disc.
Right.
But we digress. Damage Control comes out. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the storytelling with Io Sky. I found it really weird though that Bianca was kind of down and out. Then she took that kick to the head and then got up so quickly and put the finisher on. And it wasn't like a get up and like, oh, I got out of this with all my last bit of energy. It was like, no, I'm awake now and everything's okay.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little bit more effective instead of her rolling out of the way if she kind of put her legs up when Io did the moonsault. And, And that would have made it a little bit more effective because it made it look like the ref distraction distracted Io and not.
And also the ref distraction was 1 second.
Yeah.
You're telling me you went from 0 to 100 health in 1 second?
Well, as stated,
that's the thing. Bianca's not very good at selling an injury. But go ahead, Putty.
Well, no, I was gonna say that was the other thing too, and you said exactly something I was gonna add there too. Was that before Damage Control came out, the what's her name had the whole, I felt like had whole control of the whole match over Bianca, and
Io Sky,
during the Io Sky, and even during the times that Bianca would have to sell anything that she did, it didn't look as good as what she was selling for Bianca. So I was all like, during this match, it feels so weird because during this, I'm against Bianca until Damage Control comes out, and it just feels it created a weird storyline in my head when it came to these two characters, because I'm aware she's from Damage Control, but I'm also aware that that she's supposed to play heel.
I thought the announcing today was better than it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
But I also want to say that, like, especially for this specific scenario, they really, really shoehorned in the fact that their Damage Control is trying to, like, have a rift. Like, he kept talking about it, and it was like, this has nothing to do with what's happening. Why do you keep saying that? I think she's mad at Bailey, and it's like, okay, but there's a match.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know, but that's Michael Cole, though, for you. He's always been like that. But yeah, Bianca retains. She is the longest reigning WWE Raw Women's Champion of all time.
And now take away the title from her.
Yes, I agree. Who takes it?
I don't care.
Because technically her reign is over now, because on Monday they're going to swap the belts. On Monday, she officially starts her first day as SmackDown Women's Champion.
Have her lose it to... I don't even know who's on SmackDown. I don't remember.
No.
Pick one.
I like how the draft basically just made things to where like, we know it's all planned, but it's like it perfectly. Oh, the other belt wants the other side. Oh, well, don't worry, we got the other one, the belt the other side. We'll just switch them. You know what I mean? Like,
that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's like people are like, oh, it's like a real draft. They're picking things. I'm like, yeah, if they're picking things, someone would have been smart enough to pick both of the women's champions on the one side. So they'd be like, okay, what are you gonna do now? You know what I mean? Like, but there was no situation like that.
Mia Yim?
No. Continue.
Zelina.
Mia Yim,
Asuka.
Mia Yim was someone that I truly backed during her couple of matches that she had in Impact. She has been so terrible since she's got to WWE. It's like a completely different wrestler. It's like she forgot how to wrestle. She has not had one good match in the WWE.
That's true. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to, before we get to the next match, we get a little appearance by, of course, Puerto Rico. We get an appearance by Savio Vega. Which was having a little chat with
banger, a smart thing to do. Oh, I'm 100% behind it. This is what I want. This is what I want WWE to do
with their backstage.
Like have cameos from old wrestlers that we remember.
Yeah, I just wish I didn't have any subtitles, so I had no idea what was going on outside of just what basically showing. Yeah.
But it's me, Rey Mysterio. Let's fight him together. Yes, we will. Yeah. Bad Bunny, basically, very nice.
Yeah.
Do you need
basically
backup?
He said that's basically it. I have your back should you need any help.
Yep.
Like I don't need subtitles to know what was happening there.
So we're going into our next match, which was Seth freaking Rollins. Why have they not dropped the freaking yet?
She also says frickin'.
Yes.
The announcer every time says frickin'.
Yes, Samantha Irvin. Against almost a wrestler with MVP.
The best match he's ever had, hands down. Actually, not even close.
But the thing is that the best match he's ever had, or is it Seth made him look fantastic?
It doesn't matter. Well, it's the best match he's ever had.
Well, yeah. Seth. Well, see, here's the thing though. There were so good setups, especially for the the final move. So Omos is doing a lot better when it comes to setting up and making things look good. I mean, he has gotten better. You can even tell. Like I think he even knows not to run because he didn't run, and I'm so happy he didn't run.
Seth probably told him, "Don't run in this match. Yeah, I'll make you look good. Don't run."
Yeah. So and you can definitely tell Seth Rollins was there to be like a punching bag or a rag doll through the beginning until those later moments. And it really worked, actually. It's funny. I never thought of it actually like an Omos match, but this was actually an enjoyable match.
I don't think either of us, any of us did.
Yeah,
but it's all about who's in the ring, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You kept putting big doo-doo heads against big doo-doo heads, and that's what's going to happen. You had to put a good wrestler in the match with him where it told a story of like a small guy versus a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Mind
Yeah.
you, I've never seen anyone ever in my history of my entire life of watching wrestling who's lost so many matches in a row but still gets a push.
Oh, yeah,
Omos has never won. I don't think I've ever seen Omos win a match.
Didn't he get the win against AJ once?
I don't know. I've never seen him fight AJ
I gotta look it up on the database later and find out if Omos has won a match yet.
At least the pay-per-views he hasn't.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, but fine. This match was good enough.
Yeah.
Seth
served
Rollins
its purpose.
Great. The crowd was loud.
Mm-hmm. The curbs, the stomp right from the top rope onto him that finally was able to do him in. Like, it took 3 curb stomps in a row to get Omos.
Normally, this match would have happened in another company, and I would have been like, WWE take notes, but it happened in WWE, and I'm saying WWE take notes.
Maybe they watched Dontaku and they saw Hikuleo versus the Kenta, and
but this was just like it. This is just what they should be doing with Omos.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing too was Seth Rollins. We actually talked about this before. I'm noticing it to where like he's a very versatile type of character to where he can be a good or a bad guy, heel or babyface. And it's funny too. This was a different situation, a scenario in my eyes where Omos like really brought him to look like a babyface, but he still kept the heel characteristics, if you know what I mean.
Seth is a tweener, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I that's what I love about Seth Rollins. Even though the freaking thing is really weird, he's pulling off something that a lot of artists like. I feel like it's kind of like Jericho. He has that very Jericho feel in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like versatile, can be the good bad guy. You love him. No, there's no anger towards him. Even when he's a bad guy and he's done the worst thing, you're still like, I still like the guy.
It's Jericho, right?
Like yeah, exactly. And that's what Seth Rollins is becoming. And I'm happy for him. He deserves to have that because he's really
Seth
good.
is gonna win the belt. I have a feeling because there can only be one first champion in the history, and it has to be Seth for what he's done for the company. It has to be him. Don't you agree, Campo? Like you can't put it on Cody right away.
If it's not one of those two, then you've made a mistake. If it's Brock Lesnar, then you've made a mistake.
It's Roman Reigns.
It's gonna be. He's gonna have all.
He's gonna have every belt. He's
gonna win the tag titles too.
So Fab was part of this conversation as well. So if you don't know, so Raw launched there's a new belt coming to Raw, the WWE Heavyweight Championship, right? And it's going to be a Raw exclusive belt. They're starting a tournament with 4 guys from Raw and 4 guys from SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
So we're all like,
the Raw belts. Like, why is there SmackDown people fighting for it? Like. Yeah, I don't. Again, this whole I'm gonna say this, I know this is leading off and everything, but this whole draft, this whole thing, like I got excited at first for it, but then I'm like, okay, I got to remember this is all set up. This is not like something like it's randomized or anything like that. But at the same time, like for example, the NXT belts, why are they over there on Raw or is like SmackDown? Who is the one that has the tag team and the NXT women's champion? They're both.
She gave it up. The women's champion gave up her belt.
Oh, she gave her a belt.
Yeah,
she's injured. She's gonna be out for like 5 months.
And the other girl, the other two, Fire and Dawn, they're still champions.
Let's see how does that work then. The other belts, like the ones that come over,
because they're just not going to use them on SmackDown. They're still going to keep wrestling on NXT until they find a way to take the belts off them, and then they'll put them on the main roster.
They're just
because they have no team right now to take the belts away because the team they were feuding with got called up to Raw.
Yeah, and the only other team they have, Nikita Lyons, is injured. So
yeah,
okay.
It don't make the sense, but Seth Rollins goes over. They had to put Rollins over, especially if they want to build him up for this heavyweight championship tournament. They have to put him over.
And just to bring in, in case someone knows, the one thing I was referring to earlier, at the end, he literally curb stomps him while he's standing, and actually it turned out to look very well, especially the angle they did.
When he was from the top rope.
Yeah, it looks really the second angle they showed made it look really good. Like it looked realistic, and I loved it. So,
like, I mean, one thing you can never deny WWE is their camera work. Their camera work is usually pretty good.
It's as good as it gets, except for Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yeah, except in the last match, which we'll get into.
I think there's a lot too. Yeah.
Next, we have the guy who's faced Omos many times, Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory for the United States Heavyweight Championship.
You exactly said it. There were plenty of times where you see them hitting someone in the corner and there was no impact at all. Like the camera angle was so bad. And I'm like, dude, they're messing things up. I'm just
Right
not blown
away,
away.
I knew right away that Bronson Reed was here to take the pin because Bronson Reed is a Raw superstar and Lashley, in theory, are SmackDown superstars, so they're not going to put the belt back on Raw.
Yeah, and they've just switched the belts. Intercontinental is now on Raw, and the U.S. title is now on SmackDown. Yeah, it's fine. I'm happy that Austin Theory won. I selfishly want to continue to watch Bronson Reed fail for his stupid decision to go back to WWE, and I don't want to see Bobby Lashley win anything else. At least not right now. He's so, and I actually like Bobby Lashley. Remember, like we went through this whole thing where I hated him and I learned to like him, but I'm just really like bored of him.
Yeah, he doesn't offer much right now.
Visually, he is a big menacing character that looks good, but the problem is it's like a big menacing character with a very nice guy's face. So then what happens is you don't know whether to be like scared of him or be like, oh, he's like
I just think he needs to be put in the right feud, and this is not it.
No, I think what Bobby Lashley needs is he needs to change persona. He's been doing the same type of persona since he started WWE.
Yeah,
like
the almighty Bobby Lashley.
Yeah,
it was good when he was teamed with Leo Rush for a while. That worked well.
But that's my point.
When they had the Hurt Lock or whatever they were called.
But I really think he needs a change. I really think he needs some kind of different change. Maybe even go a little bit heel, like show you can actually put out the anger and frustration. Like that would be a great angle for him.
And just be like, they tried it, but they won't let him go full heel because he sells tickets, right?
Yeah, but even
he sell tickets anyways.
Yeah, like the point of the whole thing is just you need to make him rage out.
It's the John Cena theory. They can't let him go full heel because they just don't want him to.
Anyways,
but they don't realize they're losing. They're losing.
How about this? Okay, you know that meme. I propose you get this for this. So I propose this to you: Bronson Reed pins Gunter, wins the IC belt, and Gunter moves and wins the World Championship.
No.
I guess you don't like that one. No,
I'll tell you why. Because Gunter is a top tier elite wrestler who sells tickets. Bronson Reed at this point is still a nobody, especially in the WWE universe. I think general wrestling fans have a kind of appreciation for what he does. The WWE doesn't care about Bronson Reed. So to give him the Intercontinental title, unless you had like an epic plan with it, doesn't make any sense.
Okay. He is an international wrestler, so.
Yeah, but I think you have a better chance of like Sheamus winning the Intercontinental title than.
But he's on SmackDown.
It's going to be what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I don't see Bronson Reed, at least not yet. He's not over at all. Like nobody even made noise for him when he came out. It was completely silent in the arena.
But I know this is sidetracking things, but we're talking about the belts, and that's the other thing too that was a little bit confusing me. When I heard the whole draft thing and the belts going over, I was hoping maybe they're like, okay, well, you know what? We were not really working with other companies like New Japan, Impact, AEW, but we can do it like we have our own things, SmackDown, Raw, their own things, and then the belts can kind of go across. And all of a sudden, we're like, no, we're just going to reset some of the belts that do come over to the other side. I'm like, okay, you guys had an opportunity to make something special here, and you literally just blew it out of the water.
Yeah, so that's what they always do.
Exactly. So,
but Theory goes over with a cheap win. I really like, the way Theory gets his cheap wins.
He's really smart. He's a smart wrestler, and that's how it comes off to me.
6 months ago, we weren't saying this about Theory, and now Theory is like, with the whole Money in the Bank thing and all that.
But they slowly built him to this point, right?
Yeah.
Where if you start doing that with Jonah, sure, I'll feel the same way. But right now, you're not doing that. You're just having him as fodder in matches to lose.
Yeah.
Right? Austin Theory had a rocket strapped to him and then got it taken away and then had to start all over again. And they did a good job with it.
Yeah, like he cashed in his Money in the Bank for the U.S. Championship, which was smart.
And he's been a sneaky little guy ever since then. They put him in high profile matches.
He does that chicken shit heel very well.
Yeah, and keep it going. He's not making anyone look bad the way that he wins. But I think it's now we've reached let's lose this title time.
Okay.
Like I can't see like him being any longer. Like, what do you do with him?
That's why that's why I think like someone like a Cameron Grimes or something is perfect now that they're on SmackDown. They're poised for that now. Or Johnny Gargano finally takes down Theory. Give Johnny Gargano a little shine finally.
Yeah, you could have him lose it right away too, because that belt's irrelevant.
Yeah. But yeah. Theory retains, like I said. This was the shortest match on the card, though, under 7 minutes. But then again, you don't want a Bobby Lashley match going more than 7 minutes.
Yeah, and Jonah had to take a lot of bumps for them too.
Yeah,
I keep calling him Jonah.
Bronson Reed. Yeah, but
like Jonah Hill or something.
No, in New Japan he was Jonah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So with that, we are going to the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley defending her SmackDown Women's Champion, who's now on Raw, against Zelina Vega, who's still on SmackDown.
I'm going to say this before we even get to details. This just looked like an awkward match, even though I did enjoy some parts of it. It just, the two people just don't, the balance seems weird to me. You know what I mean? Like there were good spots and there, you know, but the size difference and like it seemed different. Like one's more power, one's more thing, but maybe that's the same situation like with Omos, but it
was there
big,
because
you know
the Puerto Rico crowd. Let's call it what it is, right?
But, and we also already pre-knew, I mentioned this, that what was exactly going to happen. They were going to lose, followed up by a match where a Puerto Rican person would win. This is where it's awkward for me.
Well, I mean, the match, they're both Puerto Rican in the next match, technically.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But Zelina Vega did not even deserve a shot at this title. And this match honestly was fine. I had no problem with it. It was entertaining.
Ripley debuts some new gear. She's in white now.
I find it strange that you put such a dominant force who's been just wrecking everybody in a match where she almost lost to a little tiny woman that, without sounding rude, is not a very good wrestler. Like,
I mean, Malachi Black has been trying to help her, but
I don't understand where the popularity for her comes from. When I talk to wrestling people, like outside of like here, people seem to be very fond of Zelina Vega.
It's the whole gamer cosplay aspect to her as well.
But like,
I had no idea that
she got very repetitive in this match. Like she only knew how to do this X amount of things.
Yeah. She's Putty. She's actually one of the commentators in Street Fighter 6.
Putty, she's the one you like because she came out dressed like Katana, or whatever it was.
That was her. Okay. She must have, her hair must have grown out or something like that.
No, different wig.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, either way, I saw her, and I do like her and everything. I mean, as far as visually, she is a visual. The whole motion thing, I get it where they were at. I don't know if that's her on a regular basis, but
no, they played it up because she's, her family was there for their background is Puerto Rican.
I wanted to make sure that, because that was the thing. I was like, that's already been played by several characters. That whole emotional, like, oh my god, I'm a winner. Oh my god, I won this match. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we get it. You're excited. I mean, here's my thing, and this is gonna, I was gonna refer to this later. The problem I'm having is, it is a repetitive nature when it comes to these pay-per-views now. You know what I mean? I want to give them high scores, but there's just such a I need something new. And the Bloodline used to be something that used to be amazing when it comes to that kind of stuff. We'll get into that later. So I think we're kind of stagnant right now when it comes.
It's gotten a little stale. I hope that the brand split is going to help it out a little bit. Some fresh matchups.
I have new changes so that way you don't have to worry about these same storylines that we've been dealing with this whole time. You know what I mean? So.
But obviously, Ripley retains. They're not going to have 2 belts on SmackDown.
Well, we knew that they weren't going to. She wasn't going to lose anyways. There was no chance in hell.
I think Ripley is going to be. They just gave Bianca the longest reign. They're going to give Ripley, I think, the longest reign.
Sure,
I kind of agree with that because she's a physical specimen that has a very prolific characteristic, or so even if they were to break up the whole Judgment Day, she could carry on this character even after the mommy thing, just the dark character she's carrying. She could hold on to this for years upon years right now and really sell it because she does well with it. You know what I mean? She does a good job. So
the only thing is, on Raw, there's more credible threats to her championship than there is on SmackDown for Belair.
But that at least gives her a chance to have a little more intimidation.
You have Lynch on Raw. You have Natalia. You have Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, like Zoe Stark.
But this is going to make some great matches to where she can actually show some power. You know what I mean? And then having 2 powerhouses is going to make it a real entertaining match. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So with that, we go into our next match. It was a Puerto Rican street fight rules match of Bad Bunny against Damian Priest. San Juan street fight. is what they
First of all,
called it.
I didn't know Bad Bunny was a Grammy winner. Congratulations. First of all,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And second of all, I heard.
Go ahead.
Right. I was just saying, and I heard he was a big fan, so it's nice to see that they're allowing him to work on being part of that. Which I heard Damian, I guess, Priest trained him. So I didn't.
Damian Priest trained him. They were partners for a while last year.
I think
he was at Mania. Remember, he was in that Mania match last year.
Yeah.
So, and he took some of the moves I guess he learned on Bullet Train, and I like Bullet Train. It's a good movie.
This was called a Puerto Rican street fight match. There was zero of it that was hardcore. This would be like calling a match a Texas death match, and nobody bled in the match. Until like the very final moments of the match, they didn't even use a weapon.
Yeah, they went a good 10 minutes without using, and this was the longest match on the card. This went 25 minutes.
And like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad match.
No,
but it was kind of boring for what you made me feel like I was gonna get. This, like,
I even put it.
Match.
This went on a little too long.
Let's put it this way. At one point, when they were outside and they were doing the whole trash can thing, the only thing I was thinking about was, do they even the world doesn't even use those type of trash cans anymore? Why are we still using these same trash can lids?
WWE is single-handedly keeping that company that makes those trash cans in business.
Yeah, and the cookie sheets that they call trash can lids.
Yeah, like it's such a funny thing. And then like clearly kendo sticks have like the air in between. You know what I mean? They're hollow, so it's like, oh yeah, those really hurt. No, come on, now.
They do really hurt.
They actually do really hurt. Yeah.
Okay. But either way, my point to the thing is that at least the trash can. When you're sitting there thinking in the match, why are they still using these same trash cans? The match is getting boring. You know?
These are cans from 1979, right?
Yeah.
Oscar the Grouch is even upgraded. I'm just saying.
Oscar the Grouch now lives in organic green bin. With the... But yeah, I mean, going back to what you're saying, it started getting a lot better towards the end of the match. When at first you get Judgment Day interfering, and did you see Finn's shirt?
Yeah, 14 staples.
Yeah, it was mocking the Austin 316 shirt, so it said Finn 14 staples, and on the back it had a picture of his face with like 14 staples going down his forehead.
I didn't see the face thing. Yeah. I saw the 14 staples, and I was like, "Is that a nod to what happened to him at
WrestleMania?"
WrestleMania, yeah. And I was like, I didn't see the shirt on the back, so I'm kind of sad I didn't see that. But that's funny you bring that up, because we're gonna be bringing it up later too about that, and that's the reason why I went. Yeah. And then I think you know where I'm going.
And then we get the rest of the LWO getting involved too, and then you bring back. They brought back Carlito, who I haven't seen in a long time. He gets involved. And then Savio Vega even gets a few moves in. He comes out and helps out the LWO. They're all wearing LWO gear. And at this point, it's like, who's the heels? Because now the LWO is outnumbering Judgment Day 2-1.
This was just you know what this was. We don't want to.
It was a nostalgia pop. It
was too much. This is what it was. Yeah. I loved every single second of that, but there was too much pause for applause in between those things. Like between Savio Vega coming out and the LWO coming out, Savio Vega just stood there and didn't move for like 3 minutes. Well, and I was like, what's happening?
I think that was a technicality. I think he was supposed to come out. They were supposed to be right there.
I think he may have come out a little too early, or
and then LWO
was not ready in time.
Yeah, and I think there's a delay in them coming out, so they just had to kind of play it off, because it was an awkward moment. Like, why is he just standing there? And then suddenly LWO came out, and I go, okay, this kind of makes sense now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there was just a pause. Like, anyway.
Yeah. So with that, Bad Bunny actually defeats Damian Priest, which is odd.
Yeah, but we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, but I'll say this though: when Bad Bunny's music played, that crowd erupted, singing along with the song.
I've never heard a Bad Bunny song in my life, and I don't ever plan to. I couldn't hear any of the words on that song because everyone was screaming.
Yeah.
Well, I was in another language, so I wouldn't even understand in the first place. So
I literally couldn't hear any of the song.
The crowd was so loud that you couldn't hear it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. I don't care for Damian Priest to begin with. I don't. Yeah. Bad Bunny's fine as a wrestler for as far as celebrities go.
Yeah.
They played up the leg injury.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing too. They really, and Damian Priest selling that leg was fantastic. He did a really good job selling the leg. Better than Bianca Belair did selling her injury.
Yeah, and good. That's fine. The match was fine. It was too long.
With that, we're going into our next match. We are getting the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jay and Jimmy Uso against Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn in a 6-man tag match.
Just showing more of the Bloodline being dismantled slowly. I think,
even though
it's too blatant.
Yeah,
it's overly obvious.
You could tell that Vince has his fingers in this again.
We're pausing a match for minutes at a time for the announcers to explain to us that what's happening with the Bloodline, and it's like we're watching it. Number one, it's taking too long to tell what they're doing in the ring. Like when Solo was holding Jay, and they paused there for like a minute and a half.
And Michael Cole, is he going to hit him? Is he going to hit him? Is he going to hit him?
Well, hold on. Let me explain what's happened so far in this match. Well, they came over here, and it's like, well, I don't care.
I guess maybe they thought
the storyline has gone really stale.
Yeah.
I really, Solo Sikoa is the outlier of this group of like, he doesn't come off authentic at all.
No.
His character is so phony, and it doesn't fit in with the rest of them. You're telling me that he's the really cool, super cool gangster badass guy of the group, but the Usos have been doing what they've been doing this whole time
since day one.
And this guy is the one that they're like is like brushing them. No, come on.
Their younger brother at that.
Like, no, they would have beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. Older brothers beat the crap out of the younger brothers. I can tell you that now.
It's just enough. I don't care.
I agree. The Bloodline, this again,
and the fact that Solo is Putty, but it's the fact that Solo is always the one that's interfering in Roman's matches to help him retain whenever there's a ref bump. It's always the same finish too. It's always Solo with that stupid spike. They're trying to turn Solo into the next Umaga.
But that's clearly what they want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is you guys were talking about how getting tired of hearing about the Bloodline, and we just want to break up. And it's funny, we keep hearing the same thing from Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. We've got to break up the Bloodline. And I'm like, but I'm also sick of hearing you say you're going to break up the Bloodline when you haven't done it yet. Like, can we just get this over with? And I'm tired of Vince, whoever the one is keeping the story going. Let it go. Like you must be in love with Roman Reigns and the Usos and everything. You must love this so much that you're literally sucking the teeth from it. I mean, it's weird. It's just I'm tired of it.
This needs to end, and that's it.
It's dragged on way too long.
Bloodline goes over. Uso gets the pin over Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle, actually, let's talk about Matt Riddle a little bit. He was actually half decent in this match.
Yeah, but he also lay on the floor outside the ring for like 30% of the match.
This was all Kevin Owens this match. Mm-hmm. I would say 50% Owens, 30% Zayn, and maybe 40% Zayn and 10% Riddle.
Well,
but the 10% that he was there, he was okay.
Well, Zayn was basically being beat up instead of actually fighting himself. You know what I mean? Like Zayn was in that corner for a long time with the Usos. So I don't even feel like I've noticed that the orientation with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is Sami Zayn goes in there being such a badass and everything, but then going down, being caught in the corner, has to get to Owens. Owens comes in like a badass. Owens in trouble. Zayn comes in, gets the win, and then lets Zayn carry it over. But it's always like Kevin Owens is carrying it and Zayn's playing the dead opponent until later on.
This match happened the way that it happened because they can't have them lose the titles, but they need to make the Usos look good, or else people are going to stop caring about the Usos.
That's exactly it.
That's what the point of this match is. And it's kind of, I don't know, this match was lame. It wasn't a bad, like, choreographed match. Like, the move set, what was happening, the story they were telling, but it just felt boring. Like, at the
because
end
it was also
like,
this was also a long match. This was 22 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, but I don't care. I don't care about any of this. I'm over this whole feud. I don't care if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are the champions anymore.
But that's the thing. When they won the belts, this feud should have ended. Yes, give them their one rematch. They won. That's it. Feud's over. Done.
Well, see, like I even said it, and you guys, one of you guys even agreed with me that what I thought that would happen with the Usos, like, Reigns would be like, I'm mad at you, and it just split it up and everything. But they just basically play like, oh, I'm mad at you, but you know what? Go get the job done now. And that's literally what he's repeating himself. Go get the job done. Like, and they couldn't do it the first time. Why are you keep on making them do the job done? They're not clearly doing it, Roman. Go do it yourself. Get rid of them. Yeah. That's what you want to happen, because your brothers cannot do it. And it's just so stupid.
It is. Anyway. The less we say about that, the better. So with the next, at least neither of the champs got pinned, so it makes the champ still look decent. With that, we're heading to our main event of the night: Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Short match, under 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think we
Brock
know
Lesnar
why.
matches should be. So before the bell starts, Cody Rhodes, when his song played, the crowd, when the whoa part, the whoa, the crowd really got into it. He got a huge pop for that. Before the bell, Cody beats up on Lesnar. He hits him with the steel chairs. He hits him, and then he throws him in the ring, and then the match starts. And then Brock right away no-sells it, and he like starts suplexing him and F5s and all that, and makes Cody look like a complete chump for doing what he did.
I mean, it did. See, I mean, here's the thing. First and foremost, why didn't we turn the camera away from this match? Do we know what we're talking about here? Like,
yes, that's exactly it. So there's a point where there's the turnbuckle exposed, and Cody throws Brock into the corner, and you literally see Brock do this.
Yeah, because
he blades himself.
They show it again. He blades himself, but it's funny. He did a good job of putting his head in the corner, though. But that's where he messed up in that situation. But like, he started bleeding everywhere, and I'm like, Finn Balor was bleeding everywhere too. Why haven't we turned the camera away from this one? Like, there was blood everywhere. Like, like, what the heck is going on here? And it's because of WrestleMania, and then now this. Like, that's how you tell when it's fake, is when they bladed, is because they're not taking a camera away.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there was just too much blood in this. Like, it wasn't the fun blood. It was just more like Cody Rhodes was just basically painting himself in freaking.
Yeah, but there was also a towel spot.
Well, yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
And they cut away improperly.
Yeah, I know, because I saw the referee kicking the towel.
The replay so that they could wipe all the blood off Cody.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I appreciate that this match felt like a difficult match. The blood added to it.
Yeah.
I do think that they couldn't cut away from this because there was nothing they could do.
Yeah, there was nobody at ringside. There was nothing.
It also, like, Finn had to get staples, so you weren't going to staple up the little slice on Brock's head.
I get it. But again, that was a situation. Again,
there's nothing to get. You're explaining nothing.
Explaining nothing. I'm explaining that if they're going to keep up with the illusion.
But I mean, I get it. I'm not trying to. The reasoning is different.
Yeah.
And I'm not disagreeing with you that they were afraid to show the blood for some reason there, but I also think WrestleMania is such a big, important event for them. They don't want to lose advertising things. They don't care about Backlash, especially not being in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
They're like, do you think that the WWE is like America? Do you think America cares about Puerto Rico?
It is technically part of it's a U.S. territory.
It's a territory, but I mean that like facetiously.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not a big event for them. This is a B show.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is, and it's Brock Lesnar. He runs shit. They're not going to tell him anything. It's their two biggest guys, not called Roman Reigns
or Seth Rollins
or Seth. Well, Seth, I still think all three of them are bigger than Seth Rollins, unfortunately.
Well, at least the way they're treated. Yeah.
Yeah. But Brock Lesnar doesn't care.
No.
Cody Rhodes is probably going to pay for his fine for bleeding because it made the match way better for Cody Rhodes. This is what Cody Rhodes likes. Cody Rhodes saw that happen and immediately went ham, started punching him in the head. He's like, oh, more blood.
And he's like painting himself with the blood too, right?
Yeah,
like...
this is a Cody Rhodes special right here. So I mean, it was what it was. Like, every match on this whole event was good. But nothing was like spectacular.
Exactly. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's even hard for me to choose what I would feel the best match would be, only because of everything seemed kind of at the level outside of.
See, that's it. Nothing was bad, but nothing stands out to me as match of the night in this card.
Yeah, this is hard. Yeah.
What was the second match?
The Almost a Wrestler and Seth Rollins
match of the night.
Almost finally got a match of the night.
It's both the match of the night and the worst match of the night.
Yes, at the same time.
I don't know how that works, but okay.
So they get match of the night, and Zelina Vega individually gets worst match of the night.
Worst match
not for the match, just she gets
the worst match. So with that out of the way, Cody Rhodes goes over. Cody Rhodes slays a giant. One of the obstacles, one of the adversities, as they say, he has to face before he can face Roman Reigns again for the championship, or before he can face
But
anybody.
what's next? What other adversities are there after Brock Lesnar?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was gonna say I'm just gonna put this out there in that whole scenario. There's a lot of characters that we need to do. If you really want to get back to either nostalgia, we need to drop the whole thing with Reigns. We need to give Seth Rollins a chance at some gold, and then maybe let him have gold for a long time to the point where they're like everyone's bored. And then maybe you can even do something, bring Roman Reigns back, let him take a break, and then even maybe do a reunion with the Shield and Seth Rollins. There's so many ideas you could do here.
I think the next
story.
The next adversity is Cody is going to lose in the tournament finals to Seth Rollins.
I'd be fine with that. I'm just saying they need to change the stories up and maybe give. Honestly, Roman Reigns took a break there for a while. I think he actually needs to take a break from the belt and take a break from WWE and then come back strong. Like, you're a strong character, but the problem is your character, your story is boring now.
It's stale, it's stagnant. Yeah.
So the bloodline should break up. I think everything should go away. We should get some new blood in there, or at least new blood as far as like that haven't got the chance to the belt to reign on there. And then maybe even like Seth Rollins could stick around and do his thing. If he gets the belt, I would be happy. But at the same time, lead into another story that may get us back into it, excited. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I feel. And again, I'm just using this as a filler right now. But that's why it came up to Shield. You only have 2 members right now. They're in WWE, but it would make people go, "Oh my God, it's amazing!" But it wouldn't be. You have to do it later. Give us some time. Let us breathe, because this Roman Reigns thing, and even the Cody Rhodes with Brock Lesnar, this whole triangle just of these 3 characters alone. There's no interest in my eyes.
We've seen Brock versus Roman so many times now, and
and I'm like, we need new blood in there. We need new storylines. I get these are your heavy hitters, but there's other people that have opportunity to become heavy hitters and take those spots, and let these guys just take breaks and come back with a vengeance. You know, so that's what I feel.
Anyway, so with that, then, Putty, what would you rate this show?
7.5.
Okay, Campo.
7.5.
Ooh.
I'm going one lower than you guys, and I gave it a 7.4.
Wow, you got to be different, right? You got to be different.
Had to be, because we did the same thing on last night's review. If you haven't go see it, go watch last night's review. Campo and I reviewed the Wrestling Dontaku. We did the same thing. I was 1 point lower than his, but if you wanted those scores, go back and watch the video. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Campo and I will have our review of the WWE draft, our breakdown and review of the WWE draft. So with that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. Goodbye and good night.